Test, test. In this video, we're going to talk about cloud memory. Cloud memory is a set of variables that retain their value from visit to visit in a given room. You can use these to implement things such as scoreboards, visitor counters, or click counters. It is important to note that cloud memory is private to each thing, and this means that a thing can't read or write the cloud variables of another thing. So taking all of that into consideration, there are a few things that you need to plan out when seeking to implement cloud integers or cloud strings. And that is, where will this particular information be managed from? Because you can't have it managed by multiple things. In our instance here, we're going to work with cloud integers in order to keep track of the number of clicks on this particular button. So if we look at this button first, we can look at the code, and there's some boilerplate code in here, but the line that you need to pay attention to is this broadcast the message change int. And that is broadcast every time that there is a click. And this is the event trigger that we are going to use to increment or increase the value or the cloud int that keeps track of how many clicks have happened in the room. So if we go into our display, which is where we're going to hold our information or management of our cloud integer, we can start from scratch. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to do function, and then it is on change int, which is the callback that we created. And there are a few things that we need to do. The easiest way is to use a method called add2CloudInt. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say add2CloudInt, and we need to give our CloudInt a name, and we'll just say total. And then the second value here after a comma is delta, or the change that we would like to implement. And so we're going to have just a +1 in this particular instance. And then the next part of this is we need to set the text of the display. And so we can say set text, and we need to get CloudInt. This is us saying, hey, go and get the value that is stored. And we can say the value is total. And then we can close this out. And so we're setting the text to be the value held in the CloudInt total. And if we preview this and we are clicking on the button, we can see, I already was testing it before the video, but you can see that now the value here is saved. Let's end it on 50. And so if I check the box here and then I go into play, we should see 51, which we do. That tells me that the value is being persisted across room visits. Now, just another method that I want to make sure that you are aware of, because we used the add2CloudInt, and you can adjust this to be positive, negative, whatever number you want, or set text. Another thing that you can do is you can assign, kind of do add2CloudInt a little bit more manually. And so you can say getCloudInt, and then we'll call it total. And we'll set that equal to display total, which is just a variable. Set that equal to get, and then we'll do the incremental increase manually. So we'll do display total equals display total +1, and then we will set text to display total. And then we will set CloudInt total to display total. And then if we preview, we can see that we're getting the same thing again. And that's because our cloud integer total never went away. And you might be saying, well, that's a whole lot of extra text. Absolutely. This is kind of the longer version of this, but it does show you how add2CloudInt kind of takes into account getting the CloudInt, incrementing the CloudInt, and then also setting the CloudInt. And so once again, the shorter version is kind of just to get rid of all this other stuff. And so both of them will definitely work, but this one is significantly more concise.